Hey everybody, Matt Hartman here again for Drunkard's Walk. Thanks so much for listening, and a big thank you to Jesse L.E. for our theme music and Nick Harmio for our artwork. Well, everybody, it is that holiday season, that holly jolly time of the year. Tonight is the first night of Hanukkah. You've got Christmas tomorrow. Kwanzaa starts the next day. It is an amazing time, and hopefully you are enjoying some time with your friends and your family and all those people that you love to be around. And we love to have you around and listening to the show. So thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoy this episode we've got for you here. If you do like it, you can give us a rating or review. That would be a fantastic Christmas present for us. And check out our link tree and buy all the merchandise. Did you know you can get a Drunkard's Walk t-shirt? It's true. Go to our link tree and you will find the link. Also, we can always use topic suggestions for future episodes. So yeah, there you go. Well, this is great. It's been super talking to you. Go, I don't know, cuddle up by a fire or eat some amazing food or, I don't know, do all those things that you got to do to help get through the winter time here. And we will see you next week. Enjoy the show.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Drunkard's Walk, everybody! It's me, Santa Claus, making a quick stop off here in the studio before I run around the world and give gifts to all the good boys and girls. And whoa! Who is that I see on the call? Is it Jethro Nolan?
Bah humbug.
Oh, Jethro, now, I was going to ask if you've been a good boy or a bad boy, but I guess I know the answer.
I've been a good boy. I've been increasing the capital output of the urchins of London.
Oh, well, that's actually quite good. Oh,
It is.
Oh, those
It is.
urchins. Oh, they deserve a good gift too, don't they?
No.
What?
I've been increasing their capital output. I've been making them work
Oh,
and then reaping the profits for myself.
oh, whoa, that doesn't sound as good.
Well, what do? Give things away for free? How does that work economically? Clearly, you're robbing people, Santa. That's the only way your gig works.
Oh, no, it's magic, Jethro. Don't you know about Christmas magic?
Humbug, I say unto you, sir.
Oh, well, then I guess I'd better get going. Say hello to Matt for me. Goodbye, everybody, and to all a good night.
Wow. Bye, Santa. Well, I guess I'll just do the podcast by myself. Oh, Matt, you're late.
Jethro.
You're late to the call.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was outside fixing a single Christmas light bulb that was out. I had to check every other one to see what it was causing the problem. And I did it. I fixed it. So there's still a festive, joyful atmosphere around our house.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. Nothing of interest occurred in your absence.
Oh, I would assume not. I mean, I did start recording and turned on the camera and everything like that, but that's just because it's what I always do a half hour before we start the show. So
I will say you should call the police because your house is currently being robbed by a fat man in red pajamas.
Oh no! Oh gosh, a fat man in red pajamas. Gosh, it's just like what happened around Easter time.
Exactly.
I won't go into it. Jethro, I'm so excited. It's Christmas Eve and we get to do a show. I love it. It's like one of the old Bing Crosby Christmas specials.
It really is. Parumpa pum pum and all that. And I'm so part of me is mad that the overlords at Drunkard's Walk Corporate are forcing us to work on Christmas Eve, but
yeah,
here we are.
Yeah. Well,
here we are merrily making our way through Wikipedia from one page to the next.
Yeah.
Hoping to stumble upon a little bit of Christmas cheer by finding our destination.
You know, it's kind of like we're traveling all over the wiki sphere, just like Santa does when he delivers gifts all over the world. Do you know about Santa, Jethro?
Santa who?
Santa Claus.
I'm unfamiliar with the concept.
Oh, well, it's this guy and he goes all over the world. Anyway, it's too much to try to explain, and without seeing him, I couldn't even explain what he looks like. So, but you know what also is great about, like, you remember all those old Christmas specials, right, Jethro? Like they would like have a whole bunch of guests come on and they'd come in and they'd say, "Oh, hello, Merry Christmas," and then they'd do like a little bit with them. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, that was a staple of the holiday Christmas special. Is the surprise guest who happens upon our snowed-in mountain cabin.
Yeah, that's right. And so I think it's fitting that that we will probably have at least one guest stop by at some point. And I wait, is that someone knocking at the door? Who
Yeah,
could that
sure,
be? Oh,
sure.
oh my gosh, Jethro, open the door. See who's there.
Er, Why? Oh my goodness! It's Lawrence Crowe, our guest for the
Hi.
episode. Welcome.
Hi, Laurence.
Hi.
Oh, thanks for stopping by on Christmas. Wow, that's so good to see you, buddy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
Nice and warm in here.
yeah. It's pretty cold outside. It got down to 64 degrees Fahrenheit today. Ooh, chilly on this nice hot planet of ours.
Uh, I mean, this is straining credulity even for me. The amount of
Laurence, thank
Yeah.
you so much for coming on and joining us. We really appreciate it. Welcome to Drunkard's Walk. We don't know you, but
No.
but we've got to know a little bit about you in the like right before we started recording here. You are in the UK, is that right?
I am, yeah, all the way from just under London. I am. I'm just under London, so I'm near where you've been helping out the orphans there.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
All right. That's
In
so
your
that's
ad-lib there.
so you're in the South and like
I am.
almost the deep South, we would say.
No, I don't think you call it that.
No, we don't call it that.
There's
Okay.
nothing deep about this South. No.
All right,
Okay.
So, Lawrence, let me ask you a pertinent question, given that you're near London here. If you went to the window right now, what are the odds that there would be a boy to whom you could throw a large coin and command him to go buy the largest goose in the city, and that would actually happen as a successful transaction? Is that a
There's
a likely
there's
event?
many of them. Yeah, there's
Okay.
many of them out there.
All
You
right.
can't get through the street without bumping into them. You know.
All right then.
Wow.
Well, that's good. That's good for the window coin tossing goose purchaser. Then, well done.
Absolutely.
Got to be a lot of those. And watch yourself when you're walking around tomorrow morning, because there may be a lot of coins flying out of windows to these kids. Don't get hit by one of those, okay?
Yeah,
Watch your-
every year dozens die from.
That's right. Those coins. That was a real problem at the Empire State Building. I heard at one point because people were just throwing pennies out, and you know that when a penny falls to the Empire State Building, it will kill you. I mean, that is an absolute fact. That cannot be disputed.
Jesus.
Not only that, if it misses you, it will hunt you down and kill you. That's the
right.
more frightening
That's
thing.
right.
Oh wow.
It will.
Yeah.
That's very true. Well, Laurence, so tell us a little bit about like what is it that you do? What do you spend your days
Sure.
doing anything or just hanging out?
Just hanging out. No, so I'm a graphic designer and illustrator from the UK.
Oh, awesome.
I do a lot of things for bands and kind of music events. That's kind of my main gig.
Nice.
That's
Is-
what I do. Yeah.
Are there any that you would want to talk about, some like graphic design that you've done that people might be able to see if they're like wandering around London or something like that?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I've not really done too much big stuff yet. I'm getting there. I
Sure.
say that I've been doing it nearly a decade now, freelance. But yeah, we're still getting there.
That's a decade is no time at all. Trust me. That's
very true.
Yeah,
That's very
you
true. Yeah.
you have many more years to continue to pursue your dreams and have them not come to fruition.
Fingers
I will
crossed.
say though, so you're LawrenceCroweIllustration.com, is that you?
That is, yeah, that's me. Yeah.
I'm looking at the stuff right now. There's some
Oh.
amazing stuff on here. This is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
we will
me.
put a link in the show notes as well, so everybody can go check it out. And if you are looking for
thank
some
you.
graphic design, they can contact you. Is that how this would work?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah.
All
yeah.
right,
If there's
all right.
any drunk walkheads that need some graphic design, then yeah, hit me up.
That's right. Absolutely do. Now, will you do work for people that are not local to you, and you'll like send the e-files and all that jazz?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
good. 'Cause
yeah.
we had somebody on last week from Australia, so you may be hearing from all over the
cool.
world. So we'll
There you
see-
go. There you
see
go.
how that goes. So now, as I said, we don't know you at all, Laurence. So how did you come across Drunkard's Walk? How did you even find this thing?
I drunkenly walked across you listening to another podcast. I was listening to Escape This podcast,
Okay.
and
Yep.
you were guesting on that earlier this year.
Yeah.
And I think it was this year, right?
Yep. Yep.
And so I'm a fairly new fan of you guys.
Awesome.
But I've been listening through the backlog, and all the classic episodes you've been uploading have been helping with that as well. So that's very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been fun to kind of catch up with you guys and listen back to your old stuff.
Oh, that's
Wonderful.
great. Well,
Thank you.
glad you're enjoying it. And again,
Yeah.
thanks for coming on. So now, as you know, having listened to the show and obviously being on, you know that we are looking for a destination for our walk today
Yes.
from you. So what have you brought us?
So I've got some notes here that might help you as well.
Okay.
I have brought you the 1997 3D platformer Croc: Legend of the Gobbos, which was a game that came out for PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn, and the Windows PC.
Okay, wait, Croc, Legend of the what?
Yeah. Croc: Legend of the Gobbos.
Okay.
Do you want to spell that? It's a
I'm gonna guess.
GOBBOS.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
sorry,
was going to be
sorry.
my guess. Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go.
Okay. So now I don't know this at all.
Right.
What is this? And tell me again what it came out. Sega Saturn, PlayStation 1, and what else?
And the Windows PC.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I chose this game. So it's one of my favorite games. I love this game. I'm a '90s kid, so I was growing up with this game and all the other games kind of around that. So Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and all that.
Sure.
But Croc especially was one that stood out to me, and it's got quite an interesting history. Because it was developed by a British company called Argonaut Software and published by Fox. But it was actually one of the very first 3D games. And Argonaut Software, the developers, they worked really closely with Nintendo before this game came out. And they actually created the Super Effects chip, which was the little chip that that meant that games could render 3D polygonal environments. And they were the company that made Star Fox. Yeah. And so they did that for Nintendo. But then after Star Fox, Argonaut pitched a 3D platformer to Nintendo where you play as Yoshi. And Nintendo actually rejected that game, and they were like, "No, we don't want to do that." So Argonaut decided to carry on making it on their own, and it turned into Croc, and that's why this little crocodile guy that you play as, he kind of looks a little bit like Yoshi.
I bet.
But the interesting thing is, not long after they pitched this game to Nintendo, and Nintendo rejected it, Nintendo came out with Super Mario 64, a 3D platformer, and it was their first 3D platformer. So there's a lot of speculation that maybe Argonaut and Croc kind of inspired Mario 64. So people, it got a lot of middling reviews when it came out, but I think that Croc actually has a lot to do with kind of 3D platformers in general, and I think a lot of the kind of world of gaming that we have today wouldn't be the same without Croc. So I think it's an early progenitor for the 3D platformers.
All right. So amazing detail. First of all, thank you for providing many more details than a lot of people do when they come on the show. Just so I understand, because I'm not a big gamer guy. So when we say a 3D platformer, we're talking about the navigation of the character within the world and not like 3D glasses that you're wearing. Is that correct?
Yeah. So like a 3D, like all games really are today. Well, all games, a lot of games. Yeah, being able to kind of like walk around with a moving camera and walk in 3 dimensions.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Rather than just a side-scrolling 2-dimensional sort of,
that's
like,
it.
Like the original Super Mario Brothers or things like that. So now this is a game that you played when it came out?
Absolutely. And actually, funnily enough, this is a really good time for this to come out because literally right after I sent the email saying to you, I'm pitching this game to you, they actually, it was literally a few days later, they announced that they're remaking this game for modern consoles. And it should be out at some point very close to this episode coming out. So
very cool.
There you go.
Right,
so it's timely.
So another follow-up question, Croc: Legend of the Gobbos. So you mentioned the crocodile protagonist that the user plays as. What is a gobbo?
What is a gobbo? Yeah, what is a gobbo? So it's this little kind of they look a little bit like hamsters. They're these small hamster-like creatures. And you have to go around and you have to collect them. You're kind of you're saving them from the bad guy who is called Baron Dante. Which maybe that's a step in. Maybe Baron Dante might be a way for you to get in through Dante. You've used Dante before.
Oh,
we have in fact.
Through
a little disambiguation on Dante.
Yeah. All we need to do is find a Pliny the Elder to get us to Dante. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's awesome. So I got to ask, what platform did you play this on?
So I played this on the PlayStation 1.
Okay. All right. So that's
another thing. That's another thing. So I should say. So there are a few Croc games. It had a sequel called Croc 2, and then there was also a 2000s Croc Game Boy game, and then a few mobile games after that. But it's the 1997 Croc Legend of the Gobos that we're looking for. That's
very
the one.
specific, and it has a Wikipedia page, right?
It definitely has a Wikipedia
Okay.
page.
All right. Just making sure about that. That's great. See, I made when I was doing consoles and things like that, like the first one I had was the NES, and I had that forever. I didn't get a Super NES. I did wind up with an N64 at one point, but I also remember instead of getting a PlayStation or instead of getting an Xbox, I decided to get the Sega Saturn. And boy, was that ever like the worst choice that I could have made. Like I decided, because I got it from my dad, because he introduced me to video games back with my Atari, not the 2600, the 800, which was the one with the keyboard and slightly higher graphics and things like that. But I thought he would love to have a video game system, and because he liked the all the games where you could like shoot stuff, like with the guns, like the light guns and things like that.
Sure.
And so I was like, well, Virtual Cop is the way to go. So Sega Saturn has to be the thing. And boy, like it was such a crappy system. Like it just didn't have any of the best games. I mean, obviously it had this, which I didn't
hardly
play.
Had any games. There was about 10 games that came out for it, right?
Yeah, it was such a bad choice. And I was so angry, like later, you know what I mean? As I saw the other ones all take off and do like way better, I was just like, man, I just made the absolute wrong choice on that. So that's why I don't play stocks. I don't go gamble. Because I always make the wrong choice on those things. Now I do notice that in your background right now, I see video games lined up. Are you still?
I have Croc right here. There we go.
There it
that
is.
the game.
Wow.
And you can see. Well, the listeners can't see, but there is a Gobbo there. That is a Gobbo. So.
Okay,
there we go.
Yeah, no, he's a dead ringer for Yoshi.
Yeah, and Croc is Yoshi. I mean, come on, that absolutely is.
Right?
If Croc commits a crime, Yoshi's going to jail. That's
That is it. That is it for sure. So do you continue to play video games though? Are you like a big gamer?
I do, yeah.
What's your current favorite title right now?
I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter recently. I love Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Hollow Knight. Do you know Hollow Knight?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Big fan of that.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, folks, there you go. So you have some recommendations for some games to play. You've got a recommendation for a last-minute Christmas gift. Go out, get this report of Croc for your current systems. And you also now know where to go for all your graphic design questions. Jethro, give us that web address one more time, because I've already forgotten it, unfortunately.
LawrenceCrowIllustration.com. And I will say that Laurence is an AU Laurence, not an AW.
Right.
Laurence.
I am, yeah.
There you go. And it's crow just spelled like the bird, no E on the end, like some of those crazy crows out there are doing. This is pure crow. Well, Laurence, we super appreciate you being on. And a very Merry Christmas to you if you happen to celebrate. If not, Merry Christmas to those who do. Thank you for this awesome suggestion. Jethro, do you have any questions before we let him go?
I don't, but thank you very much for coming on. It's been a delight, and I look forward to the journey ahead of us.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Good luck. I hope you do well.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Merry Christmas.
Take care. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, Jethro. There it is.
What an exuberant chap.
Yes, indeed. Oh, we should have said Happy Christmas. What am I doing? He's from the UK. You don't say Merry Christmas. You say Happy Christmas.
I didn't want to call you out in front of him. It was incredibly insensitive of you.
My wife's entire side of the family is going to be angry when they hear from me that this happened because there's no way they're listening to this. So
Well,
I don't have to
there's
worry
no
about
way you're
that.
getting figgy pudding this year.
No. I can only hope not. All right. So there we go. Well, I didn't ask him if he was drinking anything. Are you drinking anything tonight, Jethro? Do you have any drink?
Oh boy, am I.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a little under the weather. So right now I am having a Kroger Big K ginger ale, naturally flavored soda with 0 sugar.
Oh, wow.
My wife's a little sick and she wanted some sugar-free ginger ale. So when I was at the store, I got this, and I couldn't find like a name brand Canada Dry, no sugar ginger ale, so I had to buy the Kroger brand.
Interesting.
And it is what you would expect from a sugar-free store brand ginger ale.
I've had the Verner's sugar-free, and I've had the Canada Dry 0 sugar, and they're both all right. I'm
sure they're fine. What about you? Are you having a beverage? You were very excited when I got on the Zoom call initially.
I was excited. I do have a drink here tonight. I am not feeling under the weather. I'm feeling above the weather. And I have with me tonight my very own Captain's Table Private Reserve Limited Edition Bottle Number 4, Batch Number 4. This is an amazing... So I had to enter a lottery for the chance to buy this, which is insane because when they said that I got the chance to buy it, they told me the price. And I was like, that's too expensive. But then I decided that it might be the only time in my life I get the chance to do this. So I went for it. This is I'm sorry to say, rye malt whiskey.
Okay.
But I will also say it is a rye that I enjoy, which I know is not my typical thing. Age 7 years. It's this thing, Star Trek Spirits has a website you can all go to. I think I had my Romulan Ale rye on here last season or a couple seasons ago. This is the same company. And the bottle is amazing. It's got like this metal Star Trek Delta on the front. It's got a metal topper with a little coin that's magnetically held on, and that's like this little collector's thing. It has a display case that it sits in that has the Delta on the front, and then you open it, and there's a light at the bottom that lights up the entire bottle. So it's fantastic. It's awesome. I'll post some pictures, and it's tasty too. Like, don't get me wrong, it tastes quite good, but it's the presentation that I paid for, and it's top notch, I gotta say.
Wow. I'm looking at this bottle online right now, and it is. I hope you didn't pay what I'm seeing as the price listed here.
I don't know. What price is it listing?
We'll talk about those details unless you want to share.
No, I'm curious what price it has listed.
So I see it on 2 websites for $999.
No, I paid far less than that.
Okay, good. Thank God.
I guess I should have tried to resell it, which is illegal, so I never would have done that. But apparently the resale value is much higher because it's limited edition. It's limited in numbers. In fact, what made me really angry, though, was it was more expensive than I would normally pay for a bottle. The next batch that they brought out, number 5, was a cask strength bourbon, which is like, if folks that are listening and paying attention know, is like my favorite type. But I didn't even enter that lottery because I was like, there's no way I can't win and then have to buy that too. Like, it was too expensive. So, but it was not that amount. No, thank God.
Okay. Thank goodness.
Yes, I would never have paid that. That is like what I paid was too high, but that is like, I would never
way too high. All right. Good.
I wouldn't even have that money. I don't even know where I would get that money to pay for that. So,
well, you could sell some of your collectibles that are hanging on your wall behind you.
I don't think they'd be worth that much. I don't think that I would get that much for them.
But there are so many of them.
I do. I have a bunch. So maybe if I sold them each for $1, I could raise it. All right. We need to make a guess and get on our walk here, Jethro. It is the festive time of the year, so we can be festive and have a little bit of fun, but we have work to do.
Indeed, we do.
Let's get down to it.
All right.
So I'm going to write down a number. By the way, our average this season 7.5 because we've had a 5 and a 10, so it hasn't been super low. But let's see what we can do here. We are going from a game to a game, so maybe it won't be so bad. All right, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that one right there. Let's do it, man. Let's get into it because as you know, Jethro, and listeners, you would know if you listened last week. We are moving from the Campaign for North Africa, which is a board game, and from what we were told, like the longest board game playing time, it says on here, up to 1,500 hours. So there you go.
That's a lot of hours for a game.
That's a lot of hours to play a game. And we're going to try to get from here into a video game, which probably doesn't have quite as much playtime to it. But, video games have a lot of hours in them, right?
Indeed. I will say that last week we were certain we were going to have a short walk because we were like, well, we're going from military intelligence to a board game based on military.
Yeah.
It's going to be so easy. So we could be in for a disconcertingly long journey.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I'm going to change my guess because of that. You made a good point.
There we go.
There we go. I got it. I got a new guess now.
All right.
So what we have here is a description, obviously, of this game. It is it simulates the entire North African campaign of World War II. The entire campaign from 1940 to 1943. It says came out in 1978, designed by Richard Berg, and it's a box set. A large 4-inch deep box includes a giant map, 34 by 23 inch hex grid map, 1,800 counters, 6 booklets, 12 logistical sheets, 3 plastic counter storage trays, and 1 6-sided die. I expected more than that, honestly, but that's it. Just 1 6-sided die.
I will say this, that the nice thing about those die is you can roll them multiple times. So there's an infinite number of rolls in that 6-sided die.
Those aren't single use.
No, they're not.
Oh, okay. All right. That wouldn't be so bad then.
I will say I'm at the bottom of the page here, and apparently this game was referenced in season 11, episode 16 of The Big Bang Theory.
I see that.
A show I have never seen a single episode of.
Oh, is that right? I have seen quite a few episodes of it, but I've not seen all of them, but I have seen quite a few. There's some funny stuff in there, and then there's some stuff that's just not as funny as what I would say. So,
indeed. So there are not a whole lot of links on here. Obviously, there's a lot that links us to board games and specifically war games. In fact, I don't know if there's just a board game link.
I don't see one for just board game.
Yeah.
I see military simulation is on here, but it's like takes you to actual military simulations, like war games, like that they would do, like that the military
the kind the army
do.
plays. Not
I don't see a lot as far as board games are concerned. Now there is a link to some like magazines that reviewed this game, it looks like.
But they're also like board game magazines.
Yeah, well they're war game board game magazines. It seems. So they're not going to be super helpful either. So there's that link to Big Bang Theory might be the way that we need to get out of here.
Well, alternatively, in the reception category, there's a line that says, in a 2012 review, game designer Andrea Angiolino called CNA the most complicated board game ever released. And Andrea Angiolino is apparently a game designer.
Yes.
And among his board games is the Battlestar Galactica Starship Battles game, which is that the one that we played at your 40th birthday weekend?
No, it is not.
Battlestar Galactica game.
That is a different Battlestar Galactica game. It is, and that Battlestar Galactica game is also a game that lasts for quite a long time. But no, it is a different game.
Okay. So that at least gets us into the concept of game design. And I don't know this particular designer, but there are Battlestar Galactica and Dragon Ball and other things like there's a good chance we can get into video gaming from this gentleman's page, I expect.
So I would like to recommend a different game designer that is linked on the page.
Okay.
I would like to recommend John Freeman, because John Freeman was the founder of a software developing company called Automated Simulations, later called Epix.
Okay.
You may, I don't know if you ever played any of the summer games or winter games, video games back in the day, but those were designed by Epix, as were many others. So I would rather go to him being software than Andrea, who is board game.
I love it. You made a strong case. I fully agree. Let's go to John Freeman.
Great. John Freeman it is.
All right.
John Freeman, game designer, which was my job title for about 8 months. So
There you go.
I should know more about him, and I'm going to learn now. A co-founder and software developer. I already said all these things. He's married to game programmer Ann Westfall, and they work together as Free Fall associates. Free Fall is best known for Archon, The Light and the Dark, one of the earliest titles from Electronic Arts, EA.
So I actually worked for EA for a hot minute. When I first moved to Los Angeles, I had a buddy of mine who was in HR there, and they were moving from their Bel Air offices to Playa del Rey, and their Bel Air offices used to be inhabited by Mark Burnett's production company who makes Survivor.
Okay.
And so there was like a short-term moving gig where they needed help, doing all the logistics of moving from the one location to another. So I was a temp for them for a few months. And as part of the moving out, they had all this furniture that they couldn't use in the new place because they were buying new stuff. So I still have a coffee table. In fact, in my office, I have a little wheelie desk side thing that I got for free from EA because they were like, we don't want it. And the guy I was working for was like, yeah, just take it. So I rented a U-Haul van and I filled it up with a bunch of free crappy furniture, some of which I still have.
Some of which you still hold on to. That's amazing.
Yeah. All right. Epic's games such as Crush, Crumble and Chomp, and Rescue at Rigel. Interesting.
Rigel. I think it's Rigel.
Very good.
Yeah.
Nigel.
So and I see Starfleet Orion. Basic is listed on here. Commodore is listed on here.
Not a ton, not a big page, we'll say.
No, but there are video games mentioned here. I don't see Argonaut mentioned, unfortunately. And it doesn't look like, well, it doesn't really say where he is based, but I'm going to assume it's the US with Electronic Arts. So I don't think there's a UK connection here, but I mean, look at Crush, Crumble, and Chomp. Like when you mouse over that, it's a video game where the player takes control of a movie monster and attacks a major city. Like there's a little bit of a connection there, I feel like, to our Croc character.
Possibly, yeah, but this is like a game from the 1980s, the early 80s at that, because it was
agree.
available on the TRS-80, which was my first computer. So I would go away from it for that reason. At the end of it, it does mention Freefall Associates, which I guess that's a clever combination of Freeman and Westfall's names.
Yeah.
But they reference a company called Square Enix, which is a Japanese multinational holding company, video game publisher, and entertainment conglomerate. It releases role-playing game franchises such as Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, among others. So if we want to get to Nintendo, then that might be a way to get there. I'm going through Square Enix, which I've never heard of before.
Well, we don't want to get to Nintendo, I don't think, but well, I guess possibly. But I think this game wasn't specifically not on Nintendo, so I would go more towards a PlayStation or something along those lines. But
no, and forgive me, didn't he say that he first played it on Nintendo?
No,
PlayStation 1. Sorry, PlayStation 1. There we go.
Because Argonaut made the FX chip that allowed them to make Star Fox, but then they went on to pitch the Yoshi game that Nintendo denied, and that's why they made Croc.
I get confused because I've never had a PlayStation, so I just
me
it's
neither.
all part of the big blur.
That's not true. I have, but you know what I really want to go to is Atari 8-bit computers, because look, when you mouse over it, that's the Atari 800. That's the one I was talking about. That's my first computer.
I appreciate that the nostalgia of the Atari 8-bit computers is swaying you, but what we want to get to is something that was released in 1997.
Yeah,
I think that Square Enix is probably going to have a lot more connective tissue to that world than the admittedly wonderfully nostalgic Atari 8-bit computers that are basically like rocks compared to jet plane.
They are awesome, though. I would love to have one of these again and just fiddle around with it for a couple hours. All right. I agree with you. Square Enix is the way to go. Let's just do it.
It is the last link in the main article.
It's not as much fun, and it's Christmas. I'm supposed to have fun, I thought, but I guess not.
It's so true. It's so true. I tell you what, but in the Christmas spirit, there is what appears to be a picture of the Nakatomi Towers here on the Square Enix page, which I think
I don't think that's what that is, but it does look fairly similar in that it is a tall building. So
indeed.
All right. So what do we have here? So this is a much larger page, I will say.
Indeed.
And it may very well have some links to some of these companies. Well, PlayStation is linked on here. I can already see that. But is there going to be something even closer to what we are looking for here?
I don't know. PlayStation's pretty good. There's also their first game, Dragon Warrior, which was released in 1986.
Oh, the Sega Saturn is linked on here as well.
There you go.
That's the other one that it was released on that we talked about. I see
there,
a link to...
there is a link to Super Mario.
Yeah, I see that. I see that.
That could get us into there.
Yeah. Space Invaders, Bubble Bobble. What else is on here? Square Enix Collective, Strategic Alliance, Bandai Namco, and Ubisoft. These are both makers of video games. Are we gonna find Argonaut on here possibly?
Possibly. Who knows?
Life is Strange, Tomb Raider. What was the other? Wasn't there another one that he said that they? Oh, well, see, he said that they made stuff for Star Fox, but was there another one he mentioned? I guess he just said that there were sequels to Croc.
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm. I don't see any references yet to Star Fox. Although I guess if we found like 3D platformer, if there was a link to something like that, that would probably be a good path also.
Indeed. Has any of the games we've glossed over been a 3D platformer?
Well, most games kind of are now, right? So a lot of them are. So yes.
Okay, gotcha. But it's not something that, unless it was one of the first ones, is likely to be mentioned on the page.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. There's Disney, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, Kingdom Hearts, Snoopy DS. Let's go meet Snoopy and his friends. You ever play that one?
I have not. It sounds like an intoxicating possibility.
Activision Blizzard is on here. Game Engine is on here. So that's what that 3D engine is.
Have we been through Game Engine before? I feel like we did something video game oriented that might have taken us through that world.
Maybe. I don't remember that specifically, but it's possible. Unreal Engine 3, Unreal Engine 4, Epic Games.
Okay, hold on here. I found under business model, there's a link to Greatest Hits, which is branding used by Sony Interactive Entertainment for discounted reprints of PlayStation video games. The branding is used for reprints of popular top-selling games for each console in the PlayStation family, which are sold with a lower MSRP than the original.
Mm-hmm.
So that's specific to Sony for PlayStation games. So I feel like that is better than perhaps the broad PlayStation link that was earlier mentioned.
You think so?
Oh, I think that's a possibility.
I think I would go to PlayStation before that one, but maybe you're right. I mean, you've been right before, so it's tough to question you. Square Enix Collective looks like they were based in London, so that gets us into potentially British because he said that they were a British studio.
Yeah,
there's a possibility of getting in through something like that. A lot of these, well, there's several London-based things here. Beautiful Game Studio.
There you go.
The Championship Manager series. That sounds interesting. Eidos Interactive, a British video game publisher in Wimbledon. So anyway, those are possibilities.
So many that we don't lack for possibilities on this page.
We do not lack for possibilities. I'm going to jump down to the bottom to the purple what and see if there's anything down here that makes sense.
The purple what's?
Yeah, the purple boxes, your favorite purple boxes.
I love them so much.
There's a lot of there's boxes for these different Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Square Enix video game franchises are listed on here. Unfortunately, we know that this isn't one of them. Although, you know what one of their franchises is Gex.
Gex?
Yeah, so Gex, Gex, it was like a secret agent that was a gecko.
Okay.
I feel like there's some overlap between that and this croc thing, but
in that there are reptiles?
Yes, exactly. Okay. They're reptiles that are the main character in a video game. And I mean, look, I'm not going to take us to that page, but I have a strong feeling that there would be a mention potentially.
Do you think there's a Wikipedia page for reptiles as the lead of a video game?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there might be a mention because they are similar, because they have a similar thing going on.
No, I think that given the announcement that Laurence alluded to, or not alluded to, that he explicitly mentioned that they just announced they're redoing this game, that the Sony Greatest Hits thing is likely going to be a risk worth taking.
Well, but they're redoing it for like all the platforms. It's not just a Sony thing.
I understand that, but it was originally released and played by our guest on the Sony PlayStation.
Yeah.
And Sony, if we go to Sony PlayStation itself, I don't know if it was one of the best-selling games of all time, but like this Greatest Hits thing for the Sony PlayStation is at a minimum going to have the safety net of having Sony PlayStation linked there. So if I'm wrong, I should say, not only do we have an easy out from that page, but also you get the joy of telling me that I'm wrong. And what better Christmas gift could I give you, Matt?
Oh, yeah. That is nice. That is nice. I do like that idea. All right. I'm convinced. It's at least worth trying. So where did you say you saw this?
So if you go to the corporate structure section,
yes,
there is a business model subsection of that.
I see it.
And in the middle of that fat first paragraph, or not even the middle of towards the end of that first paragraph, similar to Sony's Greatest Hits program.
Oh,
and again,
I see it.
Greatest Hits is specific to Sony PlayStation games that are being re-released at a lower MSRP than the originals.
Okay, now when I mouse over that, it says that this is just a list of Sony Greatest Hits games.
Where are you seeing? I'm seeing a pop-up that says Greatest Hits is branding used by Sony. All right.
Yeah. Now, if you look at the actual URL it's taking us to, it's /list _ Sony _greatest _hits _games.
Okay.
So my concern is it's just a list, and if it's not on that list, we might have a tougher time getting out of there.
No, because all of the list pages have a bit of a preface to them that are like, "Hey, here's."
Right, which is obviously what we're seeing in the pop-up, right?
You know what? I am not deterred by your picayune little fact there.
All right, let's give it a try. Greatest Hits.
Greatest Hits PlayStation is branding used by blah 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 blah. Fantastic. It's very exciting. Look at all these links. There's even some history. Look at how much interesting.
This doesn't look like a list to me at all. Like I was expecting like those list pages that we get. You know what I mean? That are just a list.
Oh well.
That doesn't seem to be the case. So that's good. It's good. In fact, when you look at the URL, it's not a list. Oh, redirected from list of Sony Greatest Hits games. That's interesting. All right, so here we are.
Scroll down. There is a list.
Okay.
And it's in alphabetical order. And furthermore, that means that if we look at C, there is a link for Croc, Legend of the Gobos.
A greatest hit. He was talking about how it didn't have a really good reception, but apparently it is considered a greatest hit because there it is.
I will say this, though. This is a very long list. So this is a company trying to make money. So I'm willing to bet they reissue a lot of these and call them greatest hits.
Yeah, that's probably true. But this is the only one we need.
There we go.
Legend of the Gobos.
Oh yeah, that is clearly a Yoshi redesign. now that I see it even more up close.
100% it is. And probably like the Gobos were originally like, the little mushroom guys, and whoever this bad guy was, this Dante guy, was probably Bowser. I mean, come on, it's all there. But we did it. We found
We did it. We did
This
it.
is it. I can't believe it. And
we had the walk this week that we thought we were going to have last week.
That's right. We absolutely did. Boy, oh boy. I may have done myself dirty here. We'll find out in a moment. So I guessed 6, Jethro. What'd you guess?
I guess 4.
You have to stop getting exactly the same number that it is. Otherwise, it's going to seem like you're cheating.
I mean, you've been accusing me of cheating for like 11 seasons now, so I don't see how that's
well, not last season. Last season you threw it so that I would win one, which I appreciate. But now winning 3 in a row, it just feels, I don't know, it feels like what are you doing? Like you just trying to make up for lost time? Is that what this is?
Listen, maybe I've stumbled into the one thing I'm amazing at in this world, which is the
that would be a
skill.
real shame.
It wouldn't it though? Wouldn't it just?
Oh, that'd be so sad. I hope that's not true. In fact, that's my Christmas wish this year, is that is not the one thing that you're great at, Jethro.
It's so true. It's my Christmas wish too.
No, this is great. This is an amazing walk. This was and initially I did think I was going to write 5, so I still would have lost. But I did think it could be short because of game to game, and it turned out that it was. Wow.
And you let me sway you into guessing higher?
Yeah, well, yes, but again, I would have guessed 5, so it wouldn't have mattered because you guessed it right on the nose. We had 4. It was 4. It was 4. I didn't say that yet, but it was actually 4.
I will say there is a link to Gex here.
Yeah. In fact, let me go take a look at Gex and see if there's a link to this from it. Where did you see the Gex link?
Down further under reception.
Down.
Under reception.
I guess I can do a control F here. All right, so let's go to Gex and see if there's a link from Gex to Croc. No, there's not a link on the Gex page to Croc.
There you go.
So there you go. Yes, there is a link. Oh, well, of course there is, because they're the ones that publish it. I was going to say there's a link to Square Enix, but of course there is. That's why we're on that page. That would have been dumb. But we went from Square Enix to Greatest Hits. So even if there had been one on this page, it would have still been the same amount of links. Oh, but I guess if I had convinced you, then it would have taken longer, and that would have been good for me. Oh well, too bad. Too bad, as they say. Jethro, this has been a real pleasure. I'm so excited that I got to spend Christmas Eve with you. What was that?
Are those sleigh bells?
I'm not sure. They might be.
Oh, that's from those Victorian orphans. I tie sleigh bells to their ankles so I know when they're trying to leave the factory that have them working for. So that's
how'd they get all the way over here outside my house?
I don't know. They're fast. I have a lot of factories.
I thought maybe they could travel all over the world in one night.
No, that would be ridiculous.
That would be ridiculous. Jethro, a very Merry Christmas to you, sir. And I will see you next week when we can celebrate New Year's Eve.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry New Year's.